was the first wave of people that got called. Once you got called to the public hearing, you immediately were suspended. So this is the first wave of suspensions. 11 CCNY college students suspended in the college red zone. So you got suspended. It was the middle of the semester. You could no longer teach your classes, and he was organized all kinds of things in solidarity with the teachers, class by class. But they just couldn't come back to their classrooms. So it went in waves. There were 3 waves at City College. This is the first wave of the 11 that got suspended. Next. But once you got suspended, of course, if you didn't have tenure, you just never got reappointed. But if you had tenure, then or permanent employment, you got called before another committee that was organized by the Board of Higher Education. This is the trial committee for the Board of Higher Education Disciplinary Committee. It was created for this purpose. Here you could bring lawyers, and this is the first person. On your left, sitting down looking a little sad, is John Appy. He was the registrar at City College. And the people standing trial were not dismissed because they had been found unsatisfactory in terms of their work performance. They were never dismissed because they had been found unsatisfactory in terms of their teaching. There was never any indication ever brought that they had used their classroom to indoctrinate students. In fact, many of the faculty that lost their jobs were considered really top-notch teachers. And they weren't fired because they were members of the Communist Party, because I think they were still a little fearful that maybe that would totally work in the courts. They were fired because they failed to cooperate with a legislative investigating committee, and that was considered as, quote, conduct unbecoming to staff members. And as I said, those who were suspended without tenure were never rehired. Yep.
So, did they ever get jobs elsewhere?
Oh, let me finish.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, let me finish your story, and then it's a good question. Next. This is a very interesting story about City College. This is a photo of Max Jurgen, and he was the head of the National Negro Congress. The Black Student Club on campus, the Frederick Douglass Society, had been around for a long time. They had 60 members. They were a very militant student group on campus. And for years, they had agitated to bring a black faculty member to campus to teach black history. And finally, with the help of the Teachers Union and the American Student Union in coalition, they succeeded in bringing Max Jurgen to teach one class of black history. And that for 4 years, from 1938, 7 to 41, he taught black history on campus. But because he was named by the Rapp-Kazare Committee hearings, he lost his job. Next. So here again is an image from the Victor Soldier, City College in the background, and the images of the Ku Klux Klan and the lynching. And he waged a very major public campaign against the firing. He was the first black faculty member ever hired anywhere in the colleges. But that was it. And of course, black studies didn't get reintroduced until the student struggle at the end of the 60s. So remember I told you about Morris Shappies and how he got reinstated. Well, here's a picture of Morris Shappies. He had been voted the most popular teacher by the senior class. Next. But when he came before the Rapp-Kazare Committee, somebody had to admit that they were a member of the Communist Party, because there was obviously a Communist Party at City College. So it was agreed that he would take the rap. He said, yes, he had been a member of the Communist Party, and there had been 3 other members of the Communist Party, but 2 of them had died fighting in Spain, and the other one left the state. Well, he didn't know that he had been named in secret hearings, so they knew that he was lying. And he got picked up after his testimony. This image of him being arrested, by the way, there's an actual photograph of his. This is not an artist making this up. There is a picture of him surrounded by cops with the baton pressed against him. and he was arrested. He was charged with perjury, and he was sentenced to up to 2 years in a criminal court of law. And he served for 18 months in prison.
Are those representations of black or white police?
Was it?
Pardon?
Was it?
What I'm asking is, do you know?
Gee, I didn't notice that. I didn't notice that. In the photo, it was, the actual photo, I'm pretty sure they were white policemen.
That would make sense, I was wondering.
Yeah, but I want to tell you, he wrote a book called Letters called Letters from the Tombs, and the introduction was by Richard Wright, which I quote in the exhibit. So it was a it was a kind of a broad-based campaign for him and for the teachers who got fired. Next.
What's the name of your book again?
Letters from the Tombs, and you can buy it online for $10 on Amazon.com. And it has illustrations. It's more like a pamphlet. It's like a 100-page booklet. It's a booklet. So, of course, there were massive protests. These are students from Hunter and City College protesting the Rap-Dare Committee, January 1941. Next. The teachers' union set up a committee for the defense of public education. There were massive letter-writing campaigns, petition campaigns throughout the country, intellectual science, letters. Next. The teachers' union had a mass meeting in Manhattan Hall of several thousand teachers protesting the firing of the faculty. Next. This is another shot from May Day of 1941. It's sort of a women's delegation marching in May Day, the Women's United May Day Committee. And in the middle, if you can read this, it says, "For the children, the workers' children, the highest education, hands off City College." There were a lot of those signs in the May Day demonstration. Next. But all these efforts were to no avail. The Rap-Dare investigation and the subsequent board trials led to the dismissal, non-reappointment, or resignation of over 50 faculty and staff at CCNY. It was the largest political purge of a single faculty in the history of the United States. City College lost many of its outstanding teachers. Most of them never worked in academia again, but there are a few exceptions which I can tell you about later. The interrogations finally ended when the United States entered World War II as an ally of the Soviet Union in the fight against fascism. But the technique pioneered by the Rap-Dare Committee, closed-door interrogations followed by public hearings for those individuals named by friendly witnesses, became the model for the McCarthyite investigation of the 1950s. Next. It took 40 years for this history ever to be acknowledged publicly. 40 years later, the Board of Trustees of the City University of New York unanimously passed a historic resolution expressing, quote, "profound regret at the injustice done to faculty and staff who had been dismissed or forced to resign in 1941 and 1942 because of their alleged association and beliefs and their unwillingness to testify publicly about them." Next. And next, no. Next. Oh, well, go back.
Where's the Rockefeller? What's he doing now?